Well, do you have anything to say for yourself, Sophia? Louis's thundering voice stunned her. Her mother, Isabel, looked at her with cold contempt. So young and already pregnant. How could I have given birth to a child like you? I didn't mean to, Sophia mumbled, unable to hold back her tears. Didn't mean to. Louis slammed his fist on the table. Do you have any idea what a disgrace you've brought upon our family? What people are saying behind our doors? Louis, don't waste your breath on her, said Isabel. There's no place here for someone like her. She can face the consequences on her own. No, Mom, please. Sophia fell to her knees, but was met only with an icy stare. Get out. Louis stood up abruptly, pointing at the door. The ground fell away beneath her feet. I have nowhere to go. ... Double quotes, she whispered. That's your problem. Don't you dare come back. To them, she had become a stranger. Neighbors had gathered outside, their curious stares and whispers cutting into Sophia's back like knives. Just get out of here already, Louis yelled. Sophia ran, her tears mixing with the stinging cold rain. She wandered the dark streets, trying to take shelter in an abandoned house, but a rough man chased her out. She made it to a park and collapsed onto a cold bench, pressing her hands against her stomach, trying to protect the tiny spark of life within. Hey, girl, stop, a rough voice called from the darkness. 3 men with threatening faces approached her. Sophia ran in terror, stumbling on the slippery ground. Her heart pounded wildly. She managed to lose them and hide in a narrow alley. She fell, trembling with fear and exhaustion. Why does everyone hate me? Her voice was swallowed by the noise of the downpour. She spent the night under a tree. The rain showed no mercy. The cold seeped into her bones. In her delirium, she saw her parents' faces full of contempt. I'm so cold. ... Am I going to die here? A terrible thought flashed, her consciousness blurred. Child, what are you doing out here? A warm voice cut through the fog in her mind. Sophia vaguely made out the silhouette of an elderly woman leaning over her. A large umbrella shielded them both from the rain. She didn't have the strength to answer. She collapsed into the stranger's arms. Don't be afraid, you poor child. I'll help you, the woman said, her gentle hands catching Sophia softly. Who are you? Sophia murmured. I'm just an old baker. But you can't stay out in this rain. Part 2, Sanctuary. Margaret brought Sophia to her small bakery on a corner. The home above it was modest but warm, filled with the soothing aroma of fresh pastries. Sit here, I'll get some hot tea, Margaret said. For the first time in many days, Sophia felt a glimmer of warmth from a stranger's kindness. In the morning, she woke to the smell of fresh bread. Margaret handed her a glass of warm milk and a roll. Thank you, Sophia whispered weakly. She wasn't used to kindness, but as the bread touched her lips, a lump formed in her throat. Her parents' cruel words echoed in her head. She put the bread down, and tears streamed down her face. What's wrong? Margaret asked, sitting beside her. I don't deserve to eat. I'm a disgrace to my family, Sophia blurted out, sobbing. Margaret took her fragile hands in her own. No one deserves to be treated like that. I don't know what you've been through, but I know you're a good girl, and you deserve to live. With Margaret's help, Sophia began assisting in the bakery. However, the judging looks from local customers made her shrink inside. Rumors about the pregnant girl spread through the neighborhood. One afternoon, Esteban, the owner of a nearby shop, came in. "Margaret, we need to talk," he said, throwing a disapproving glance at Sophia. "Do you know who she is? I heard she was thrown out of her home for something shameful. Keeping her here is asking for trouble." Sophia lowered her head, trying not to cry. Margaret straightened up, her gaze turning to steel. "Esteban, if you have nothing better to do, get out. This girl hasn't harmed anyone. Think of your reputation. Who's going to want to buy bread from a bakery that shelters someone like her?" Esteban said scornfully. "Get out," Margaret said firmly, pointing to the door, "and don't come back." But the pressure grew. One evening, taking out the trash, Sophia was confronted by a group of local boys. "Hey, girl, who do you think you are, living here?" a rough-looking Carlos shouted. "You've already shamed this place." He spat, and she fell to the ground. "Enough," Margaret's voice rang out from the doorway. She helped Sophia up. "Fine, but don't complain when your bakery gets boycotted," Carlos sneered. Margaret led Sophia inside, her aged hands trembling. "Don't listen to them, child. You haven't done anything wrong." But Sophia cried silently. She didn't know how much more she could take. Margaret was forced to close the bakery for a few days. Sophia tried to find work, but was rejected everywhere. The glances at her stomach were more telling than words. Returning, she found Margaret at a table covered in bills. "Are you okay?" Sophia asked anxiously. Margaret sighed. "I don't know if I can keep the bakery going. People are threatening to stop buying if you stay." "I'll leave." Sophia's voice trembled. "I don't want to cause you any more trouble." Margaret looked at her with pain. "Silly girl, you have nowhere to go. I won't let you end up on the streets again." But the thought of leaving took root in Sophia's heart. She didn't want the kind woman to suffer because of her. That night, Sophia lay awake, her heart torn apart. "I have to, for her sake, and for Anna's." In the morning, she packed her few belongings into an old bag. Margaret was still asleep, holding back tears. Sophia left a note on the table. "Dearest Margaret, I am so grateful for everything you have done for me. But I can't stay and bring trouble to you. I will find another place. I love you very much." Taking one last look at the bakery, she placed a hand on her stomach. "We have to be strong, because no one will help us." She closed the door quietly and left. Part 3. Wandering. Sophia wandered the streets until she found a cheap boarding house on the outskirts of Miami. Room 3. "Don't bother me if you can't pay," the older landlady, Dolores, said dryly, handing her the key. The room was small, dark, and damp. "We'll manage," Sophia whispered to herself, though she didn't believe it. Every place she applied for work turned her down immediately. Returning, she saw a group of children from the boarding house by her door. "Look at her belly, it's like a ball," one boy shouted. "She must be bad if her family threw her out." Another added with cruel delight, "Stop it." Sophia tried to protest, but it only made them laugh. That night, she lay in the damp room, holding her stomach, trying to lull herself and Anna to sleep. The echoes of taunts and cruel words wouldn't leave her. In the morning, Dolores was waiting for her by the door. "You stole from me, didn't you?" she said sharply. "I didn't take anything." "I swear," Sophia recoiled. "Then why has money gone missing since you arrived? You have 1 hour to pay up or get out." "I won't keep a thief in my house." Dolores's shout attracted the attention of other tenants. That evening, Sophia found her room broken into and her meager belongings scattered. Her small pouch of money was gone. No, it can't be. She ran to Dolores, but the woman cut her off. You again. Don't you dare blame others. You brought this on yourself. Crushed by helplessness, Sophia returned to her room. In the cold room, she held her stomach and wept. I'm sorry, Anna. I couldn't protect you. Where do we go now? What do we do? There was no answer. Only the howling wind through the cracks in the door reminded her of her utter loneliness. In the morning, she quietly left the boarding house. The indifferent Dolores didn't even look at her. Sophia trudged through familiar yet alien streets. Hunger cramped her stomach. She leaned against a brick wall, catching her breath. The icy wind cut through her thin coat. At an old market, she approached one of the stalls. Excuse me, do you have any leftover food? She asked quietly, her voice hoarse from cold and fatigue. The woman behind the counter looked at her with scorn. I've got nothing for you. Get lost. Humiliated, Sophia walked away. In the park, she sat on a bench, clutching her stomach. Tears streamed down her face. I'm sorry, Anna. What did I do wrong? Why do we have to suffer like this? A group of children walked by. One boy stopped, stared at her stomach, and exclaimed loudly, "Look how fat she is." The group burst into laughter. Another child threw a small stone at Sophia. She just lowered her head and endured it silently. When it grew dark, she found shelter among some abandoned buildings and curled up, trying to shield herself from the cold. Even with her eyes closed, sleep wouldn't come. The howl of the wind and the growl of her hungry stomach reminded her that the world had completely forgotten her. Just when all seemed utterly hopeless, she heard footsteps. She ignored them at first, but the steps grew closer and stopped right in front of her. Sophia, she looked up. Margaret stood before her. Her face was etched with worry and fatigue. She was breathing heavily, holding a lantern and her old umbrella. You, ... Sophia, she gasped. Silly girl, you nearly sent me to my grave. I've been looking everywhere for you. Margaret knelt before Sophia, her trembling hands touching the girl's face. Why did you leave? I didn't want to make you suffer. ... Sophia sobbed. Margaret hugged her tightly, as if afraid to lose her again. You don't understand, Sophia. You are my family. I will never abandon you, no matter what happens. The two women held each other in the cold and the rain. Sophia's tears mixed with the drizzle that had begun to fall. I told you, Sophia. Don't worry, we'll manage together. Margaret's voice was full of emotion. Sophia nodded, her eyes filled with tears, looked at Margaret. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I left without a word. Not another word. The important thing is that you're safe. Part 4. Return and Forgiveness. 13 years later, Sophia had become a strong, independent woman. With Margaret's help, she had opened a small cafe on the outskirts of Miami called Anna S., named for her daughter, who had become the greatest pride of her life. Anna was 13, the spitting image of a young Sophia, but with eyes full of intelligence and confidence. Their life was simple, but filled with joy and love. One morning, as Sophia was wiping the counter, an elderly woman with silver hair and a face lined with wrinkles entered the cafe. Her eyes held weariness and doubt, but deep down held a strength Sophia recognized. Isabel, Sophia whispered, and her hands trembled. The woman nodded, her eyes filling with tears. Yes, Sophia, it's me, your mother. The atmosphere in the cafe grew tense. Anna looked curiously from her mother to the stranger. Sophia tried to compose herself, her voice cold. what are you doing here? After 13 years, you just walk back into my life as if nothing happened." Isabel bowed her head, her voice raspy. "I know I have no right, but I can't live with this guilt any longer. I came to apologize." "Apologize?" Sophia laughed bitterly. "You threw me out onto the street. You chose family honor over your own daughter. And you think a simple sorry will fix everything." Anna tugged at her mother's hand. "Mom, what's going on? Who is she?" Sophia was silent for a long time, her knuckles white. "Anna, this is Veer, grandmother." "Grandma," Anna said, surprised, turning to Isabel. "Really? Your mom's mom?" Isabel fell to her knees. Her eyes were full of remorse. "Yes, sweetheart. And I made terrible mistakes. I abandoned her when she needed me most. But I can't live without trying to make it right." Anna stepped back, looking bewildered at Sophia. "Mom, is it true? Why did she abandon you?" Sophia bent down and hugged Anna tightly. "I'll explain everything, but not now." Isabel stood up, her hands shaking. "Sophia, I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I am willing to do anything to atone for my mistakes." "It's not that simple." Sophia's voice was full of pain. 13 years is a long time. You weren't there when you were needed. What can you possibly change now? At that moment, Margaret walked into the cafe. Seeing what was happening, she silently walked over to Sophia. "Sophia," she said softly but firmly, "I think your mother deserves a chance to speak. How can I forgive her? They pushed me into this, and now they expect me to just forget everything." Sobbing, Sophia turned to Margaret for comfort. Margaret placed a hand on Sophia's shoulder. "Forgiveness isn't about forgetting, dear. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the chains of hatred. Sometimes forgiveness is the greatest gift you can give yourself." Isabel, on her knees, spoke in a trembling voice. "I dare not ask for forgiveness right away. But please, give me a chance to make amends. I can't change the past, but I can try to be here in the present and the future." Sophia lowered her head. Conflicting emotions warred within her. "I need time," she whispered. Margaret nodded. "Of course, Sophia. You don't have to decide anything right now. But remember, family, no matter how broken, can always find a path to healing." Isabel stood up, her face streaked with tears, but a faint hope glimmering in her eyes. "Thank you, Sophia. Just you giving me a chance means everything. I will do everything to prove my sincerity." Over time, Sophia kept her distance, but didn't prevent her mother from seeing Anna. Isabel often came to the cafe, sitting quietly in a corner, watching her daughter and granddaughter work. When Anna laughed, Isabel would smile softly, her eyes filled with regret. One day, Anna took her mother's hand. "Mom, I think Grandma is really sorry. Maybe you could give her a chance. I don't want to see you sad anymore." Sophia looked at her daughter, and her resolve weakened. Anna was her greatest motivation. Margaret acted as a mediator, inviting Isabel to stay for dinner. Weeks later, Sophia decided to talk to her mother, alone, in the cafe's kitchen. "Mom," Sophia began, her voice still cold but less sharp, "I need to know why. Why did you turn your back on me?" Isabel bowed her head. "I was scared, Sophia. Your father and I were afraid of the judgment. We spent our whole lives protecting the family's honor, and when it happened, we didn't know how to handle it. But we were wrong, terribly wrong." "Did he ever look for me?" Sophia's voice trembled. "He thought you would never forgive him, and I thought the same. But when he died, I realized I couldn't go on like this. I can't lose you. 2 tears streamed down Isabel's face. Sophia sat in silence. A whirlwind of emotions raged inside her. She thought of the years of suffering spent alone. But she also understood that no matter how much anger she held, the past couldn't be changed. "Mom," Sophia's voice broke. "I can't forget what happened, but I will try to forgive. For Anna's sake, for Margaret's, and for my own." Isabel broke down crying, hugging her daughter. "Thank you, Sophia. I promise I won't let you down." From that point on, Isabel began to help out at the cafe, slowly rebuilding their relationship. Though barriers still remained, both were trying. Anna became the bridge that connected them. Months later, a small gathering was held at Anna's cafe. Margaret, Isabel, Sophia, and Anna stood together, their faces full of gratitude and happiness. In her speech, Sophia said, "Life is full of trials, but if you don't give up, you can find hope. I want to thank Margaret, who saved me on my darkest days, and my mother, who didn't give up and didn't miss the chance to right her wrongs." Isabel's eyes filled with tears. She held Sophia's hand. "I'm so proud of you, Sophia. You are the strongest woman I have ever known." The gathering ended with laughter and warmth. Under the roof of Anna's cafe, a new family had blossomed, not perfect, but full of love. Sophia's story is a testament to the power of forgiveness and the strength of love. Forgiveness is not only about freeing others, but about healing your own soul. Even on the darkest days, there is always a light of hope ahead.